Alright, hello! Welcome to another video. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the Aeolak, which is either the easiest weapon in the game to get or the hardest weapon in the game to get. Farming this weapon on its normal variant, like just farming it the real way, is an absolute pain. It's basically impossible, and its parts cost 100 plat just to get the weapon. Now you can obviously, if you want, just straight up get the weapon from the market by spending 225 platinum, but obviously that's also very expensive. But if you're someone that doesn't mind spending money to get stronger in this game, you can actually get this weapon in a different way. If you go to the page of Warframe right here, if you go to this page, then you will see that we have Warframe Starter Weapon Pack, and on this we have a 449 euro bundle, which might be different for other places, I don't know, but in Europe it's 449 euros, very cheap, and it gives you a fully built Aeolak with its adapter in, or its potato in, a maxed out serration mod, and 100 platinum to work with. This is absolutely goated, and if you want to have a 100 times easier early game on this game, it is an insane thing that you can actually do to make yourself really strong very quickly. It's unironically a really good bundle. 100 platinum already, if you want to get, like, I think 100 platinum is 375 without any platinum discount, so 100 platinum is pretty good. Maxed out serration is a huge upgrade for you, especially when you're super early game, and Aeolak is an absolutely amazing weapon that you can just get for free, basically. What does this weapon do? We will see 3 builds today. One is my main multi-shot build, one is my main IQD build for disruptions, and we will also showcase a noob friendly build, so if you're an early game player, stick to the end and you will be able to find out a really good early game weapon for you if you want to spend the 4 euros to actually get stronger in this game. First of all, we'll start with the maxed out build. This one uses a Riven mod that is status chance and critical damage. It's a very similar in stats to Hammer Shot, but way more boosted because Aeolak is a 4 Riven disposition weapon, and this takes my status chance to a whopping 168.7% and my critical damage to a 7.7 times. This is mainly a primary fire build, although alt fire is really good with it because you get a lot of heavy blast procs and viral procs, and they just boost each other out. But the main thing for this weapon is that it has multi-gun seal. So galvanized aptitude, this mode, is direct damage per status type affecting the target. Normally on other weapons it would be additive to serration, but on this weapon and some other weapons it's multiplicative to serration, so you want to use this and serration at the same time to maximize your damage. So you get a lot of value from doing this, and obviously you go primary dead hit as well to get the extra headshot multipliers, less recoil, just all of this helps. And aside from that, it's just a standard status based viral build. You can, of course, if you want, completely dismiss this and then go for prime cryo rounds if you would like, but I really love how balanced the damage types are on the alt fire, which allows me to get some viral and blast procs pretty much with every time I press the alt fire button, which is really good. We're gonna go showcase this on a regular survival mission. This is pretty much the build that I would take if I wanted to do a daily driver build, as I like to call it. Just a build to just build it like this and forget it ever existed, and you can just take it on any mission, it will carry you through any mission. This is the type of build that we're working with here on the first one, and I absolutely love it. Aeolak is a weapon that has some pretty cheap Riven mods as well. If you want to get a Riven mod for this weapon, you can, but if you don't want to get a Riven mod, you can simply replace the Riven mod I have with Vital Sense, as I am not using Vital Sense on this build. When it comes to fire rate, you can, if you don't have Hammer Shot, put fire rate mods instead of Hammer Shot, and then use Vital Sense instead of the Riven mod, or you could simply use Arcane Acceleration always for some fire rate. In general, Arcane Acceleration is one of my favorite arcanes to use in Warframes anyway, because of how much Wisp build I am, and DPS is always welcome. So fire rate, attack speed arcanes are always something that I'm a big fan for. They provide really good quality of life, really good DPS to every weapon, and I use them even on Wisp on a lot of builds, so definitely use them, and especially if you have some coins left from Belly of the Beast. I don't know if Ordis is still around anymore, even though the event is over, but you should definitely try to get them. So, play a bit with the Altfire. You see it consumes 10 ammo per shot, and it adds some viral and from blast strokes, and if enemies are clumped together, it will do some pretty decent explosions and killing. The primary fire is the big star of the show here though, because the primary fire again is multi-core, it deals a lot of damage, and in general this is a weapon that feels great to use, has a tiny bit of recoil making it feel like it does a lot of damage, you know, the small kick that it has. Sounds great, sounds absolutely awesome, and obviously with the multi-gun seal, if you ever find like a tanky unit, you will absolutely shred it. It kills it very, very quickly. So we have this guy over here in basically 3 shots because I missed half my bullets. We can easily kill him. And it doesn't really matter if we aim for the head or the body here on this build, because this build is of course a multi-shot build, so although aiming for the head is nice, you don't really need to. This weapon has so much damage that aiming for the body is just as serviceable as aiming for the head. So yeah, has the AoE on the alt fire, has the normal like usage on the primary fire, loads of damage, very fun, very nice sounding. This is a great weapon overall that you can add to your arsenal. And although the farm is really difficult, I think it's worth it, but overall I wouldn't be judging anyone who wants to buy this weapon straight up with platinum by buying the cards, or to get the bundle even for $4.49. It's absolutely worth it. That starter bundle, and there is the Pullman battle kit as well, I think. Although the Pullman battle kit is not as useful, because Pullman, even though it's a great weapon, is not like the greatest thing in the world. This one is actually like one of the most high damage assault rifles in the entire game. So if you're a person who likes assault rifles in other games and you just came into Warframe, you will for sure like the Aeolak, because the Aeolak is basically an assault rifle with a grenade launcher. It feels very nice. The only thing that you might not like about this weapon is the ammo economy or the ammo capacity on the magazine, and you can fix that by swapping one of the mods out, either hammer shot if you don't have that, or the ribbon mode again, with magnetic capacity, which will give you some magnetic damage, which is by far the greatest damage type for assault rifles in general, which I usually have on my pets, so I don't need it, and get some extra magazine capacity on top of that. So make sure you have some build variation, some ideas, and figure it out. Something else than mine might be better for you. But my daily driver for Aeolak is this, and I'm really happy with it, so I'm definitely going to be using this whenever I play Aeolak. If I need it for like EDA or something, I'm definitely taking this build. And a very good weapon, really high damage. Shreds through enemies very quickly. Generally really fun to use. Just an overall great weapon. One thing I'm hoping for is just like I make a video on every weapon and I showcase rhythm modes for it and high rhythm dispositions. I am hoping that I don't actually make the rhythm modes of this weapon expensive, because I don't think they need to be. I mean, it's a great weapon, but the weapon itself is expensive to get as is, so we'll see. But I don't really know if it's worth it. So we're gonna see the damage onto the Acolyte here. I'm gonna shoot it with the primary fire. I don't think the alt fire is really needed, and it probably does less damage anyway, so. Generation kicks in halfway through, which lowers my damage, but still a really good burst at the start that you really appreciate. Too bad that AoE weapons kinda ignore attenuation on these guys, which makes them very squishy. Against something like this weapon's alt fire, that would maybe do better, but I'm not really sure at this point. I just find this weapon very nice to play with, because its primary fire just does so much damage, it's unreal. And I will actually show that through the disruption build, because on the disruption build, yeah, you guys will see some numbers. I'm gonna be so for real. it will make the weapon shine a lot more. But if you want to take this build, this specific build, on something like Void Cascade level cap, you can probably just use this weapon alone without priming anyone or anything, and it will take care of any unit that you throw it into. So it is a really strong weapon. For this build, simple changes: we swap critical delay and galvanized chamber. Primary accuracy, vital sense. You get crit chance from primary accuracy, so you don't need crit chance anymore, and you just add even more crit damage. You reach 11.7. And with 11.7 critical damage, primary accuracy, galvanized aptitude, all the base damage increases, you can see some crazy numbers. Compressor Prime to make some magic happen with the status effects onto the enemies. And let's actually see what our numbers will be. Oh, we also have the synthesis target. I almost forgot about this guy. Heavy Gunner, my beloved. I could have taken a better pet than Panzer or Slipe of Apila, so I can get even more crit through an Arzakavat maybe or something like that, but I don't really need it. So, let's do first, before we add anything too crazy, let's do a simple priming into just one primary fire. And see how much damage we do. So, if we prime, we get 6 million damage in one hit. Pretty decent. This is without armor stripping, obviously, and no other buffs going on in the weapon. Just the weapon doing everything on its own. Now I'm gonna shoot the targets without armor stripping them on the second time. And then for the third and fourth targets, I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but this time I will be using all of my buffs like Eclipse and Arcane Crepuscular, or even more critical damage. So, in general, I do prefer the multi-shot build on this weapon, and I don't think the IQD build is better for any other situation other than, you know, disruption missions, of course, where you can actually CC the target that you want to kill and then just take your shot in patience onto their head and just kill them. But this weapon's status chance is so high that's... oh shit, I forgot. Oh, you know what? 29.8 million damage. Anyway, as I was saying, I prefer the multi-shot build because it doesn't lose that much damage over the IQD build, especially when it comes to headshotting. But it still absolutely shreds enemies regardless of their EHP. The weapon does this way too much damage per bullet anyways for you to require IQD on it. It's obviously quite funny seeing how much damage you deal with IQD, but again, not really needed. Alright, the buffs will run out. This time I will not prime him. I will just shoot him. So just seeing, very quick. It takes 4 or 5 bullets to kill the base steel path disruption. 1 million damage per bullet, even with minimal priming from just the weapon itself. Very, very strong. Multiple weapons benefit greatly for priming, so seeing this much damage without priming is actually really, really nice. We get an Acolyte quite early, but thankfully it's Misery, so... The first shot that dealt 500,000 damage, then our status procs went in. I think we proc only Puncture or Puncture one more thing, and then the second hit dealt 3 million damage instantly. So just the big damage difference coming from multiplicative Gunko right there. Last but not least, I'm gonna go find the funny targets of Samaris, who has insane damage reduction on the HP, and try to kill him as well. So, yeah. Quite similar in power to the Tetra, which just shows how insane the Tetra is, since that weapon is simply additive CO, but it has a way higher base damage than this weapon. But Aeolak is a weapon that can kill the level cap targets in pretty much 10 bullets, especially when you prime on disruptions, so just shows how insanely good as a weapon the Tetra really is, and how some people were saying that I'm underselling it, but it is what it is. I cannot convince everyone. I can only change the mind of some people, and those people mainly are open-minded to things like this, so it is what it is at the end of the day. Your loss. But I still think this is one of the best weapons you can actually use if you want to do, you know, base heal path a lot easier, for example. Like, before you get any crazy melee weapons, anything too crazy like that, you can simply use this. So, final build. For this one, I will not use the attack speed buff from Wisp, and it's this one. As you can see, mainly early game modes. The only mode that is not early game and it's from 9 to 99 and you have to work for it is magnetic capacity. Every other mode is quite easily obtainable. This one is just from Uranus, and you get it from Jade's mission. You know, Hellfire, quite easy. Split Chamber, very basic mode. You can get it from the Void. You can get it from playing excavation missions. Vile Acceleration, you get it very easily from the Orokin doors, the Dragon Key doors, basically. If you have the decaying Dragon Keys, like the Dragon Keys on your dojo, and you're wondering what those are, you pick them up, you go to Deimos, and then you find the Orokin door, open it, and you get some pretty nice mods. This is one of them. Then Vital Sense, Point Strike, once again, very common mods, all these. And this is just the regular build. I think the hardest thing to get here is Primary Deadhead. If you don't have something like Primary Deadhead, you can easily use Primary Crux from 1999 from earlier, or just any primary arcane you really want. But I'm gonna use Primary Deadhead just to show that this is like absolutely enough. Actually, wait, let's try this. Let's do rank 1 Primary Deadhead, basically. I think that's still gonna be enough. So yeah, rank 1 Primary Deadhead. I'll have some backup weapons just in case things go sideways, but let's go ahead and do a simple survival mission on the Void. Again, this build has very early game builds, no galvanized modes, nothing like that, and I'm gonna show it on something that is way past base steel path. So if you get the bundle as well for this weapon, the build that I showcase will not need much endo either, so very cheap to actually build through it if you have the mods themselves. And this is how it actually looks like. Again, this is without any buff from anything. This is simply the weapon. I guess I do have an Arcane Avenger, but that's it. My Kavat is useless, and this is just the weapon and how it kills without any buff and without any galvanized moves. And here's the Outfire. As you can see, the Outfire, not that crazy, can still kill if you are spamming it, especially. But overall, just a very standard issue rifle here, that as long as you can survive these enemies, it will kill them in a few bullets, which is actually pretty great. With a build that takes pretty much 0 effort to build, and you can go through no buff. And of course, if you're something like in a sorting mission, sorting missions are way easier than Steel Path, because Steel Path has the modifiers for extra health and extra shields, while on the sorties we don't actually have that, so enemies are way less tanky there, even though they're similar in levels. And in general, you will never really need to do a build like this once you reach the Steel Path. You can start working on galvanized modes, say galvanized aptitude, and start working on the ultimate build for this weapon. But even just unlocking Steel Path, you can see that as long as you are hitting a bit of headshots and surviving, you shouldn't have many issues killing the enemies that Slowpath might throw at you. And obviously if you have Warframes that can buff the weapon, that will also help quite a lot. But on its own, it's pretty impressive that it can do Slowpath this easily with a build that simple. In my opinion, the Aeolak is still just a slightly weaker version of the Salta, because Salta's Altfire is way more powerful than this one, and its primary fire is still comparable, so I do like the Salta more than the Aeolak, but the Aeolak is also an amazing weapon that you guys should definitely take a look at if you haven't. And if you're someone who wants to get stronger early on and you want to breeze through the game and look at the story or anything, then you can simply buy the pack, follow the build for like this build that I'm doing right here, and it's gonna be very easy to breeze through anything the game throws at you, as long as you can make your Warframe survive pretty much anything that you want. This could be potentially the best early game weapon in theory, even though it's not an early game weapon. Due to that bundle, it has become one. And a lot of people actually do buy this bundle. They think it's very useful. And I know a lot of my friends that have started this game, I didn't even need to tell them to buy the bundle, and they just bought it themselves because they were like, dude, $4.49 to get an amazing looking weapon and 100 platinum and maxed out serration. Yeah, I'll take that, you know. Eximus and Slowpath, if you are working with weapons that you don't really have galvanized modes, or you don't have encounters or anything like that, you cannot really kill Eximus enemies in Slowpath. Maybe with some melee weapons like Blades or something, maybe the Zoris. But in general, you will have a pretty difficult time fighting those Eximus units on Slowpath. With Aeolak, they're actually fairly killable. And reminder that here I have like literally rank 1 primary deathhead. I basically have nothing here. A very underpowered build. And it's still doing wonders. Now I'm not sure about the Acolyte. We'll try to kill him, hide him a bit, but I can't promise anything. I really love the sound of this weapon. That's why I'm trying to stay quiet a bit so you guys can hear the sound real quick. I really like this weapon. Okay, it's Menia. I think, is it Menia that she deflects my shots? Yeah, okay. We have a problem. She deflects my shot. I can still hit her with some alt fires, but she really doesn't like to be hit, Menia. Okay, she got rid of it. Oh, she has it again. Oh, Mania. Alright, I actually killed her. I'm quite surprised. This was the worst case scenario for whatever Acolyte I would get, because obviously Violence came, whatever, I would lose the health buff, but that doesn't really matter because I can just spam 2 and then walk away. But overall, you know, this is still absolutely fine. No kind of buffs. 284 kills on Slowpath. Yeah, even with a build like this underpowered and this undermodded, the Aeolak does have the base stats still to help you work through Slowpath before you can actually acquire any important weapon. And once you do acquire any important weapons or important mods, then you can easily just try to work your way through this build and then have a lot more fun and make this weapon extremely powerful. Very good weapon, definitely suggested. Check out the bundle if you have never actually seen it. It is very, very useful. And yeah, if you guys have anyone that you know that started Warframe, you can definitely show them this. And I think they would appreciate something to boost their early game. However, if they don't want to spend the money or try to get something like that, I will also keep in mind that and try to show some other good early game weapons in the near future for all of you guys that are struggling with the early game of Warframe. Thank you very much for watching another video of mine, and I will see you on the next one.